Welcome to Elicia Woodford's Resource Vibe podcast. This is your trusted directory for master level spiritual healing, guidance, and business resources to be aligned with your true self. After our recent episode number 7, where we discussed the blueprint and life cycles, I just knew the perfect follow-up would be today's guest. So we're going to continue to talk about why knowing and accepting our individual path and timing is important, and specifically today with your business. If you're an entrepreneur, knowing your life path and individual timing is going to help you so much. I'm excited to have Jo Soley, founder of Bizology, join us on the Resource Vibe today. I personally experienced the power of Jo's work during a consultation in the beginning of this year, and I knew I was a life path 7, but I didn't really necessarily know how that applied to my business. And I had never heard of the personal years. And she helped me so much when I learned that I'm in a personal year 4 and what that means and the energy of it and what it's all about for me helped me really accept what was happening instead of doubting myself that things weren't moving as fast as I wanted them to move, or they weren't working like they were in previous years. And so she also helped me see my previous years, what was happening and why it made sense for me, what I went through over the last 3 to 4 years, and the energy of each year of what I went through when I started over and I created a new life. And then last year, I wrote and published my book and my new True Essence program and the Resource Vibe podcast. And then what was happening for me this year. So we'll get into what all of that means, the life path numbers and the personal years and the energy that they all have for us, and why it's important as entrepreneurs, as business owners, to know your personal life path and your personal years. So Jo has over 30 years experience in business development and 11 years as an entrepreneur, and she's been running Bizology for 9 years. She brings both structure and intuition together through her Bizology framework, helping business owners move from second guessing to confident, informed action. Welcome, Jo, to the Resource Vibe, episode 8.
Thank you very much for having me.
So excited to have you here and to talk about numerology and how it helps us as business owners. So before we go into that, for anyone who's not familiar with numerology, can you briefly explain what numerology is?
So numerology is based on ancient wisdom. It's an established discipline similar to astrology. Astrology looks to the stars, numerology looks to numbers. Numerology has been used by celebrities and CEOs to understand who they are. But it's ancient. The Greeks used it. The Egyptians used it. It's in the Bible. It's in the Kabbalah. Numerology helps you understand who you are. Pythagoras is the godfather of numerology. He taught us that numbers have a vibrational quality. And when we use it with our date of birth, we can understand who we are on a deeper level.
Excellent. Yeah. So numbers is in everything, isn't it?
Yes, so mathematicians tell us that numbers rule the world, and it sounds a bit Beyonce, but it's true. Nothing happens in life without numbers.
When did you first discover numerology for yourself? Were you already a business consultant at this point?
Yes, I've always been fascinated in with numbers, not like times table or or maths, but the every time I saw a blog about numerology, I'd make a beeline for it. And I went to an event and the keynote speaker was speaking about numerology. It was International Women's Day, and his opening line was, "Forget International Women's Day, it's International Women's Millennium." Because we're now in the energy of the two. So you and I were born into the 1, 19, which is 10, which is 1. It was very masculine, men-led. There was lots of innovation. Now we're in the 2. And look at the amount of women we've got running businesses. Look at the amount of women playing more masculine sports. Look at the more inclusion energy, the way we're parented, the way we teach. So that night I had massive aha moments because I knew I was a life path 1, but I didn't really realize I wasn't being a life path 1 in my business. So I was being a 2, the power behind the throne. I was helping women run their events. I was being like a number 2 for women. I was running network groups. And like, how was business working out for me? Not really that well, because I wasn't being a leader. I wasn't being a life path 1. I wasn't being the innovator. I wasn't being the trailblazer. I wasn't being the pioneer. So then I understood I was meant to be the leader. So I kind of really looked at how I was operating in business. I made a lot of changes. And then because it really helped me and understanding where I was on the 9-year cycle, like you touched on in your introduction, then I decided to create Bizology using the power of numerology to elevate your business success because numerology had helped me so much. I wanted to help other people.
So you had never heard of it at that point being combined, the numerology with business strategy.
No, it hadn't been combined.
You were
And
yeah.
yeah, I was the trailblazer because ones are here to do something else. So as a love path 1, you've got to be self-employed, first thing. And the second thing, you've got to do something that hasn't been done before. So I was self-employed. I knew I couldn't be employed. I'm unemployable. I'd had amazing jobs all over the world I worked, but I hate being told what to do. And the second thing is I had to do something different. So I did have a business. It was called Your Brilliant Business Angel, and I was helping people with marketing and strategy. And I had a 7-step process all about your ideal client, your message, your content, conversion, etc. But as a 1, you don't see the vision. So what I did, I drip fed it, drip fed it, drip fed it. So I started talking about the life path number. Then I started talking about a deeper chart. Then I started talking about personal years. So perfection keeps you poor. Done is better than perfect. But especially for a life path 1, you'll never see the whole picture. So as I drip fed it in, when I started talking about numerology, I didn't even have a name for it. So I mentioned it to my current clients. I beta tested it with them. Kind of it's like turning the Titanic. I drip fed it in. I found out that I loved it and wanted to do it in my 9 years ago. But if you start anything new in a 9-year, when you get to your 1 year, it feels old. So I waited until my 1 year to study at a London college, to rebrand, to have the shoot, to create the sessions.
So right away, knowing what year you were in helped you create your business in the
Yeah,
right
but
year.
I waited.
Hmm.
I bought loads of books. I read up on it, but if you start anything too new in the 9 year, it doesn't work.
This is really good to know. What happens for your clients once you help them and with what their life path number is and their year? What started happening for your clients?
Well, most people don't know who they are, right? What they say, what they think, what they do is always three completely different things. So when people understand themselves through the lens of numerology, things do shift. Not everybody's willing to listen, but your life path is the path you're here to walk this lifetime. It's from your whole date of birth. I'm a life path 1, the leader. You're a life path 7, the seeker. You cannot change your date of birth. You can change your name, change your life, but you cannot change your date of birth. 75% of what's going on in my life is my 1, the leader. So I'm 53, never married, no kids. That's very 1 in energy. But I always used to think, oh, why aren't I married? Why haven't I got a family? Why don't I like to be told what to do? Why don't I like working in groups? Why don't I, etc., right? And all of the answers to the why don't I like to is found in my number, the 1. So for yourself, you're a 7, the seeker. You operate on a different wavelength. You can't be rushed. You need to seek. You need to learn. The more you learn, the more you earn. It's it's all about wisdom. It's all about space. It's all about deepness. You have to have space. You can't be online all the time. You need to step back off stage. You need to get in nature. You need rest. So when you appreciate yourself through the lens of numbers, when you stop working in the negative of the numbers, the more you can move forward. So the first piece is really your life path because it shows you what you're here to do, but it's good to look at the negatives of the life path because that's what you're not meant to be doing. And then we can look at the personal year, which is um what you're here to do right now. So like you said in the introduction, you're in a 4 year about structure, control, routine, system. Nothing happens quickly. The universe shines a light on anything we can structure. I'm in a 9 year, which is like where I was 9 years ago when I found Bizology. So I'm in a year for endings and letting go and shedding and deleting and releasing. And because I'm aware of that, then I can consciously and intentionally and then deliberately do that. So my birthday was this month, 4th of the 4th. So I've only just had it, but I'm selling everything on Vinted. I'm throwing everything away. I'm letting go of so much because I know that I'm not second guessing myself thinking, oh, why am I wanting to let everything go? No, I'm meant to be letting everything go so that there's space for the new to come in next year.
It's so life changing to know your number and to accept how you are overall. As you said, this is not just for business. You do combine it in this amazing way that helps entrepreneurs and business owners, but to know our number and how we best function in the world is life changing. And then to know how that gets applied when you're in business for yourself, how it works best for us, helps us in so many ways. And then the year really, I mean, I was so used to things working because I had struggled for so long. When I first started my business almost 20 years ago, I didn't make money for, I don't know, 7 years. I was researching and searching and learning, as you said. And so I was struggling for so long that I finally started making money, and then that was working, and it was working and working so good that in my mind, I just thought, oh, this is how it's always going to be now. And, most business coaches think this is how to do it. And if it's not working, you need to do it differently. In our minds, when things are slow, and not making as much money as we were, we tend to think that we're doing something wrong, or it's not working because we're not doing something that we need to do. And then if we go to a business coach and they said, oh, you need to do this, and this is why you're not making money. And then it can really throw us off track instead of knowing what that year is for us, and that it is going to be slow. In my case, the knowing that I'm in year 4 and what the 4 is about totally made sense after you said it, and it helped me just relax and accept. And I have been just naturally focused on details and all of the things that I wasn't focused on when my business was flowing without effort. And now it makes sense to look at the details in my business and my structures. And so it really helped me know that I'm doing the right thing and that I'm not doing anything wrong.
Yeah, you're in a year for to get your ducks in a row. You're in a year for structure and foundation, and you can make good money in a 4 year. You've just got to work hard and apply yourself. Whereas when you're in a 3 year, it was about it like joy and enthusiasm and putting your message out there, like you had your book, etc. And 3 is lucky. So when you understand what the soil is fertile for each year, then you can tailor your strategy to that. Your business strategy needs to be tailored to your life path anyway. But then when you know the year you're in, you can understand what's going on because there's a theme for each year. And when we had your session, I also showed you your personal month. So a 4 year is slower, an 11 year is intense, right? It's off the charts intense. People jump up and down about 11, but it's a lot. A 9 year is all about endings. That's where I am. A 7 year, you need to really slow down. You need a sabbatical. And modern life doesn't really support that. So these trickier years can be navigated in more depth with regards to the month. So at the moment, you're in a personal month 8, which even though you're in a 7 year, the 8 month is kind of more goal setting, more results, more strategy, more like, let's go. Whereas I'm in a 9 year, but I'm in a 4 month. So the jukebox is the 9 endings, but the tune playing is the 4. So I'm in a foundations, structure, like detailed month.
Yeah, that's so interesting because this is episode 8
Yeah.
and it's in my 8th month.
Yeah.
And I did take a break until this month. I did my first season last year in November and December and launched it in December and January. And then I took a break until the beginning of this month. I said, "Oh, I want to do this again." I felt that energy.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
this is happening anyway. So what we're doing is shining a light on it so that we think, right, we're not going mad. This is how I'm feeling. And then you can lean into it even deeper. Even
Hmm.
the days of the week have a different vibration. So we're speaking today on a Monday. Monday is Moon Day. It's ruled by the moon. It's a very feminine day. It's very emotional. It's lundi in French, and it's ruled by the moon, lunar energy. So on a Monday, don't go 100 miles an hour. There's more car crashes on a Monday than any other day. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. I don't have client calls on a Monday. I do things like podcast recording, but I'll get ahead of the week. So then every day is ruled by a different planet. So this stuff is happening anyway. We are just understanding it on a deeper level, using the esoteric energy, using the cosmic currents, so that you appreciate there isn't a one size fits all strategy. Everyone's working with different cycles, everyone's working with different cosmic currents, everyone's working with a different unique chart. Like you said before, coaches will say, "Oh, it's not working, this is the way." There's no cookie cutter approach. What works for you won't work for me. What works for the next person won't work for me. So it's all about understanding who you are, understanding your uniqueness so you can do business your way.
Yeah, that's so valuable. And when we say it's not working, it doesn't mean it's not working. It's just how we've been programmed to see things is, oh, if I'm not consistently marketing or making money or, bringing in X amount of clients, because those are those cookie cutter, strategies. And, if you do this, then you'll get this. And if you're not, then you're not doing it enough or you're not doing it right. And all of that goes out the window when we're talking about knowing the energy that we're in, for ourselves personally and the year. Because sometimes, like as you said, the sabbatical year is not about working that much, right?
Exactly, because we're taught to follow what works for other people. But people are building businesses that don't actually fit them. So there's not a right way, there is your way. So numerology and bizology shows you how you're designed to operate, how you make decisions, how you connect with people, and then the kind of layer, the icing on the cake, that there's better years and easier years to do things. And then you stop forcing what doesn't work, you stop second guessing yourself, and you start making decisions that feel right and that work commercially. So everyone talks about community, everyone talks about groups, everyone talks about memberships and events. And that energy is very six. Okay. So looking at your chart, there's 5 numbers in your key chart. You haven't got any 6. Looking at my chart, I haven't got any 6. So it doesn't mean that we can't get on with people. It doesn't mean that we can't have conversations, but we're not very 6. What do I mean by that? So if we were if we were to like only work in groups, if we were to spend all our lives in other people's community, if we were to like have a massive team, that's going against our energies. So your first number straight out the gate is 7, life path 7, and you're born on the first, 1, right? My number straight out the gate, I'm a 1 and I'm born on the 4th, 4 behind me. So, um, so that 6 is like we, togetherness, partnership, like getting involved in other people's stuff. And like when I left university, I was a buyer's assistant in London, and I don't mind working hard. I'm born on the 4th of the 4th. That is about graft. So I just used to love getting into work, getting into my in tray back then, old school, and getting on with it. But say if some products arrived, everyone would jump up and down and coo and look at the fabric and look at the. I'm not interested because I want to do what I'm here to do. I want to do my job. And I remember my buyer left and she handed over to a new buyer and said, Jo just puts her head down and gets on with it. She doesn't like getting involved too much where she doesn't have to. And she wasn't being rude. That is me. So then when I started to be self-employed and everyone was networking, everyone was getting involved in groups, a friend of mine said to me, I really respect that you don't invest in everything, that you don't go to everything, that you don't like, because, and I don't, because I don't need to, because I know who I am.
Mhm.
Because all of the networking, all of the group, I lead a group, I lead events, I lead retreats, but I rarely attend them all because that drives me mad. All of the like getting involved in other people's business. And And that sounds rude, but other people are good at that, and that works for them, and that drives them forward. But it doesn't drive me forward, it hinders me.
Yeah.
So that is one area, like community, collaboration. I can collaborate, but with the right people, like yourself. Because I know you're a 7 and I'm a 1. 1 and 7 is 8, right? So it works for me. So it's about understanding yourself on a deeper level, looking back at your life, looking back at the silver thread that runs through everything that aligns, looking back at the silver thread that runs through everything that doesn't align, and then go, oh, yeah, this is my chart. If you've got a number, you've got it for a reason. And this is the numbers I don't have. And that is why I'm 53, never married, no kids, right?
Yeah. So it helps everyone to clarify why they do feel better with certain things and why it works better for them, and to accept it, and then to be it, and to be aligned with it.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. There's no mistakes. People say to me, oh, it cuts through years of therapy. And that's not being disrespectful about therapy, but you stop forcing what doesn't work, you stop second guessing yourself, and then you start making decisions. And I don't do like fluffy numerology. I don't jump up and down about 1111. It's practical, usable, business focused, because I'm born on the 4th of the 4th, and that's quite a serious energy.
It's structure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
foundations. And it's not a magic pill, I can give you the insight like we had the session, but you had to do something with it like you did. Because the awareness is small shifts, but the awareness gives you the big results. It's not osmosis, you know. I create the sessions with PowerPoints and I give you all the information. We record it, but you've got to listen again. I've got a book, but you've got to read it. I've got a planner, but you've got to open it. But I don't believe you need to be everywhere. And like I said about the community piece, I don't follow models that don't fit my numbers. And I choose alignment over being scattered. I choose alignment over being popular, because your business is an extension of who you are. So how you show up, your style, your messaging, it's all in your numbers. So mine is all about 148922, which is my numbers. The leader who builds, it's a professional energy. There is the 9 there, so I am compassionate and kind, but 22 is there. So, it's a come on, let's do this vibration.
And so, can you give other examples of how it can be different for other entrepreneurs with their life path, and what other numbers go into their specific strategy?
So if we look at the life path, there's 11 different numbers. So one is the leader, like myself. That's Walt Disney, right? He says, oh, let's not forget all started with a mouse. So Disney so won innovation leadership. Then we've got 2, which is the sensitive. Michelle Obama, she says, when they go low, we go high. So 2 is all about intuition. It's all about balance. And I always say you're not the number next to you. So I don't particularly get on that well sometimes with life path 2s, but knowing that, you can give people a bit of a break. So 3s are the communicators. They're here to work smart, not hard. 4s are the builders. They're all about structure. 5s are the adventurers. They're all about change. 6s are the nurturers. They're all about community. 7s are the seekers. They're all about learning and wisdom. 8s are the CEOs. They're all about high standards, results, and goal setting. Executive in energy. 9s are the humanitarians. They're all about compassion and service and love. 11s are the spiritual teachers. They're all about insights, and 22s are the architects of change. So that's the first number.
Is there not a 10?
No,
Okay.
because 1 and 0 is 1. So it goes 1 to 9, and then the master numbers are 11 and 22. So that's like the life path. That's the most important number. But then there's 7.9 billion people in the world ish. So we don't just chop everyone into 11 numbers. It goes a lot deeper. That's like saying I'm Aries and you're Sagittarius. Okay. Then we have the approach number, the date of the month you're born on. So you're born on the 1st. So the way you approach your life path 7 is 1, to lead, to be self-employed, to be innovative. The way I approach my life path 1 is to build, to have a plan, to have systems. So then ultimately we have a number called the ultimate goal. So yours is 4, which is structure, control, routine, and system. So you're in a 4-year and your ultimate goal is 4. So this is a good year for you. My ultimate goal is 8. That's why I'm not a £30 numerologist. I take it seriously. Then we have a number that you were in a previous life. Yours is 11, the spiritual teacher. So you use intuition a lot in your work. And really, you've based the whole of your business on this.
Yes.
Of course you have, because that's who you were last time. You're very psychic. You're very intuitive. This will run through everything that you do. But this time, if you only use that, it's not enough. This time you have to use the seeker energy, 7. Seeking, thinking, learning, questioning, and asking, right? So last time I was a 9, like literally in service. And I can be very 9, overgiving, used to, undercharge, worrying about what other people think, people pleasing. That number stops me moving forward. So I'm not going to stop being kind and loving, but have to watch staying in 9, especially in a 9-year. So this 9 can kick my butt a bit this year if I don't watch the negative of it. And we've got a power number, which gives us a little bit of insight into our purpose. And for you, it's 5, which is living overseas, change, travel. Sure. Mine is 22. So, I do loads and I've done so much, but I can't stay in it. A glimpse into my purpose is transformation. So we've got a deeper chart. We've got the cycles. We've got your life path, which, I will always die on that hill, that's the most important number. And then we've got your name, because your name isn't who you are, it's who you look like you are. So people treat you like that and then you behave like it. So Joanna Elizabeth Soley, even though you call me Jo Soley, it's the whole name, is a 3. So people will the author. So people were asking me for a book forever. And I was like, I can't write a book. But they saw me as the communicator. Your name, your full name, Elicia Marie Woodford, is a 5, all about adventure, all about helping people create change in their life. So even though you're a life path 7, you're seen as the adventurer. But change your name, change your life. So people change their name all the time. They change their business name all the time. But then this creates confusion, because Bizology is a 3. And if I was to suddenly change it to something that vibrated at a 6, then it would change how it's seen. So this is very subtle, but it's vibrational.
Yeah. So I did change my business name when I was married. My name was Elicia Miller. And so 12 years ago, my website became aliciamiller.com. And then a year and a half ago, I changed it back to Elicia Woodford and rebranded.
So Alicia Miller's 9. So that's like the humanitarian. People would have expected you to give and give and give and give. It's all about service. It's all about impact. But Alicia Woodford is a 4 without Marie. So
Okay.
Alicia Woodford's a 4. Alicia Marie Woodford is a 5. But we can chop and change the name. We can take things out. Jo Soley is an 11, the spiritual teacher, which people come to me for that. But I do look at the whole name because that's the flag in the sand.
Like what we were born with.
No, what you're using now, but including middle names.
Okay. Even though it's not the brand name.
So so that's you though, that's who you are. Like Joanna Elizabeth Soley is a 3. Marie Woodford is who you are. Your business, Elicia Woodford, is a 4. So people will come for you for you to get grounded, get, to get some structure in, to get the foundation sorted.
Yeah, well, that makes sense because when I changed my name, that's when I created the other program. So there's different programs, step-by-step programs for people, and the book, which is another step, and the resource vibe, which is another thing to the whole formula.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a 4-year, and you say, "Oh, you might have thought it's a bit slower," but it's all perfect time-space sequence. There's no mistakes.
Yeah. It's to have the details taken care of so it's all together. So in the 4 year,
Yeah.
it's very clear for people of what it is, how it can help them, that they're getting all of the information they need in the right way. Is that right?
Yeah, because, with AI now, we people are getting information and, okay, it might not be as good as an expert, but sometimes people think it's enough. So the differentiation for us as business owners in this time is to really help people through their uniqueness.
I'm so glad that you brought up AI because people, especially business owners, we all are using it, and it's a great tool to use to help us with coming up or brainstorming with some ideas that we have and writing it and things like that. But people are using it for business strategy as well. And so it can really throw people off because it isn't applying their personal path number and year and all the specifics that people need to know that you give them and help them with in terms of who they are and where they are in the right way for them.
Yeah, definitely. With AI, there's 2 things going on. One, it can hallucinate, so it gets it wrong. It's based on a biased section of the internet. So if you ask it for its numeric chart, for your numeric chart, I mean, I've seen it time and time again. I deal with it every week, unpacking what AI has done wrong for people. It will get it wrong, right? Like you said, it's great for copy, it's good for ideas, but it will get it wrong. So it's like a dumb research assistant. And then what it does, it stops you thinking for yourself. So
Yeah.
it disempowers you because you run to AI every 5 minutes. So when we use AI, we've got to be really, really, really careful not to disempower ourselves and also to take some of it with a pinch of salt.
Are people using it to know their numerology and what they are, the life path and their
Yeah,
year?
Sometimes, at the moment you can't get a 2-year, it will tell you that there's a 2-year. At the moment you can't get a 22-year, it will tell you there's a 22-year. At the moment you can't get life path 33, it will tell you there's a life path 33. You can't, it's a 6. It will take 22, maybe tell you you're a life path 4. It would take 4, maybe tell you you're 22. It would take 11, maybe tell you you're a 2. So there's so many nuances. The numerology is half science and data and calculation and half intuition. So you need the human in the loop, but the AI takes that out. Yeah, it's really important to speak to a proper numerologist, not just like in my book, What Numerology Isn't, I say, and this was before AI was properly, coming through, like 2023, I wrote this. I think AI came through mid-end 23. I said it doesn't work very well with computerized apps because it can get it wrong. So we're seeing that.
Mm. Good to know. So it's really important to work with someone who is an expert with numerology and to understand numerology more. Your book, what does that cover?
It's Bizology 101, U plus numerology is business success. Excuse the state of this. I've used it and used it.
No, I
But
love the state of it. It's perfect. It's how it should be. It's how it should look, right?
but
Use.
there's 44 chapters. That's deliberate. There's 300 pages. That's deliberate. There's 8 parts. That's deliberate. And I wrote for an hour a day for 9 months. That's deliberate because we're pregnant for 9 months. So I was literally birthing a book. The main chapters, chapter 7 through to 25, is all about your life path and going deeper. But there's about cosmic currents, like, your personal year, your Bizology compass, going deeper with the day of the month, Bizology in real life, well-known people. I talk to clients. Words of spells, that's why we call it spelling, like we were talking about your name. Digits and destiny, so look at your pricing. Look at your house number. What's your house number?
144.
Okay, that's a 9. So in that house, it'll all be about service and love and compassion and vision. But what's your boundaries? So I'm in a 42-6 house, but I haven't got 6 anywhere else. But that helps me, this house, because it's kind of like holds that 6 vibration for me where it could be missing.
Hmm. I love it. I love all the things that you put together, all of the numbers and how it's important to know much more than just your life path and your personal year. There's so many other things that go into who we are and how we are and what works best for us. So, and then you combine that with your decades of experience with business strategy and what works best for each person. And what are some of the results? I gave my example of just acceptance and knowing I'm doing the right things this year. And I feel good when I'm doing it. I have you on my shoulder. I'm like, oh, yeah, like I'm so excited to be working on details in my business for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
Mm.
So result wise, so a 1 will stop getting in groups. They will really they will be self-employed and focus on the ideas because 1s get more ideas than anybody else. 2s will stop trying to be a leader. They will be the power behind the throne because they're meant to be. They make sure that they're supported by their environment. 3s will stop working so hard. They get their message in the world. They will say yes to invitations and they write their book. 4s will give themselves permission to work hard. They won't, because that's a swear word nowadays. But 4s are
Yeah.
here for that, right? Like you're in a 4-year, that's what you're doing. I'm born on the 4th of the 4th. I do that. they use their hands to feel grounded as well. Fives will accept that everything changes, that they're just here for the adventure, that they can't fake it till they make it. Sixes will stop interfering with where they're not needed, but they will understand that they understand what people need more than any other number. Sevens will appreciate that they don't fit in, that they're different, that they need space, that they're here to learn on a deeper level, that they stop hoarding it. Well, no, they won't stop hoarding, but they love hoarding information. um,
Oh, wait, so how does that apply to the resource vibe?
Yeah. So sevens don't like keep stuff so much, but they keep information. They have lots of like things. Yeah, lots of
That's
information.
why I created the resource vibe to
Yeah,
share
yeah,
all the information that
yeah,
it's collected.
yeah. That's perfect though for
Yeah.
you. Again, like there's always a silver thread, there's always a reading. Eights don't suffer fools, so they appreciate that, but they stop being hypercritical of themselves. Nines hopefully will have boundaries, more boundaries, even though they never give up on people. 11s will know that life is a lot, life is intense, but that they can connect deeper to source, God divine, to inspire people. And 22s, this is the big one. My 22s say to me, "You've given me permission, Jo, to understand myself on a deeper level," because they see more, be more, and do more.
Wow. I love it. So you help everyone just really know and accept themselves and be how they're meant to be and how they
Yeah.
probably always feel. Do you find that most people are like, oh, I always feel better when I do that? And once it's confirmed for them.
Yeah, yeah, like they're not wrong. You're not getting it wrong. You just
Yeah.
haven't been shown how you work best yet, so that they can know themselves and own it. Stop trying to fit into somebody else's cookie cutter approach of what business looks like. Build something that actually fits you. Your job isn't to do more courses, read more books, join more programs. It's to be more of who you are.
Yeah. I love that. That is what, we're all here to learn about ourselves. So we are fulfilling what we wanted to come here to do. And this, specifically what we're talking about today is our work or our innovation sometimes, our contribution to the world, really, and how best to deliver that for each person and work with where we're at, know where we're at and what is best. And speaking of, you help your clients also plan like when is the best time to write a book and launch something new, maybe business names, coming up with things, ideas. Okay, is that a good idea for now? Or so tell us more about when people have ideas, how do you help them implement them in the right year in the right way?
So we look at it through the lens of the life path. How should X life path do it? We look at it through the lens of a deeper chart because you're a life path 7, but you've got 4 other numbers. So what does that mean? What's going on with you right now is your personal year 4. Nothing's happening quickly, but because we know that, we can then lean into the months and then the days of the week. If you want to launch something, we look at the best date to launch. If you've got a business name, we look at what that means vibrationally. We look at how you're seen through your name. So that's like the main 5 areas. But in my deeper programs, there's so much more. There's probably 30 pieces in total that I show somebody, but they're where we start those 5 areas.
Hmm. So what are the deeper programs? So you offer an initial consultation to understand the life path and the personal year?
So there's a discovery call that you can have where I talk to you about what's going on. And then you can have a life path session, a deeper chart forward session, a personal year session. That's the one you had, your name and your business name, or you can buy that as a package. But then I have an immersion program where we look a lot deeper at these things. We look at deeper cycles. We look at some astrology as well, related to the numerology. We look at what's called karmic debt numbers. So I'm a karmic debt life path. It's a 1910-1, Bizology level 3. Okay. So I'm a 1910-1, and 19 is a karmic debt number. So it's not easy. In my life, I've got to stop codependency. I've got to help people, but I've got to walk my own path. So really understanding my karmic debt life path really helped me move forward. Everyone's got karmic debt somewhere. You're in a 13-4 year, so you can't take any shortcuts. You've got 13-4 as your ultimate goal. So again, no shortcuts in life. So understanding the karmic debt on a deeper level really helps.
Wow, you go very deep. I love that. Yeah, with the past lives, the karmic debt, what we need to
Yeah.
be aware of. For example, what would be, I know the seeker, okay, so 7 is a seeker. It takes a long time gathering, learning, spending time alone. What is the negatives? You also talk about like be aware of.
Yeah. So in so 7 in the negative, because in the positive, it's analytical, it's deep, it's intellectual, it's intuitive, it's perspective, it's shrewd, it's wise. So tick, 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 tick. Yeah. But everything has a black and white. Everything has a night and day. Everything has polarity. So though there's no gold medals for those, right? They're there anyway. But when we pull the negatives out like weeds in the garden, then the positives can shine. So if you, as a 7, stop being, I'm not saying this is you, right? But for instance,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So if you find yourself being aloof or cold or critical or cynical or defensive or guarded or impractical or nervous or pessimistic or too serious or secretive or withdrawn, that's the opposite of what I've just said in the, then we can pull those out, stop being those, so then the positives can shine.
Great. That's really good to know, to be aware of for each
Yeah,
person to know, yeah,
yeah.
how to shine, how your number is and how the number can shine.
Yeah, but it's easier for you to be the day of the month you're born on. So it's easier for you to be the first 1. It's easier for me to be the fourth 4. So the trick is, and you don't want to like not use your 1 gifts, and I don't want to use my 4 gifts. But if I just stay in 4, that's comfort zone. What happens in comfort zone? Not much. So I want to get out of my comfort zone 4 and into my 1. So I don't want to be the builder 4 who sometimes leads. I want to be my life path 1, the leader who builds. So you don't want to be the leader who sometimes seeks. You want to be the seeker who leads.
Right. What is the most kind of surprising thing that you have seen since combining numerology with business strategy? An example of someone that completely changed, that was the opposite of what they really are. And once they learned who they are, it was like a drastic change. Did anything happen like that?
Um, so once I had a yoga teacher who was also a bookkeeper, and she was really trying to fight this yoga teacher bookkeeping thing, right? You can understand why,
Yes.
accounting and yoga, but she was a 7. So 7s is half data and half analytical and half mysticism. So it's Stephen Hawkins. So look, his brain was so powerful, his body gave up. Our late queen was a 7. She needed space from meet and greets all the time. She
The
loved,
media and things. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
and she loved the royal yacht, but then they took that away from her. Johnny Depp and that court case, he's a 7. He wanted the truth. 7s want the truth, right?
Yes.
So this yoga, teaching, accountancy, that's fine, that works. You don't need to choose one because the yoga is the mystical depth, and then the analytical data is the accountancy bookkeeping. So that it's like giving yourself permission. It's okay to do both. Then, other business coaches would go, no, choose one, hold your feet to the fire, don't have too many messages. But no, it's fine.
Yeah. I can see that with so many people. We're on a lot of, everyone listening to this is spiritual, and we're on this path where we discover something and we think the whole thing is not aligned anymore. And that's probably what
Yeah,
was happening. Like, this is my old self and this
yeah.
is where I'm headed, and I'm still conflicted and things like that. And there's a lot of judgment about things that you have helped people accept about themselves, and it's okay to be how you are and what you want that is not understood by other people.
It's just clarity in the message. So in my 8 years, something kept coming in louder and louder and louder to um, drip feed into my business, which I've been doing in my life for the last 10 years, that I started bringing in with my client sessions, and that was the tarot. And I've used the tarot daily for 10 years, and I show my clients how to use it with their numbers. But then it's like, well, I'm a one, I'm good at doing one thing. Are people going to think I've jumped ship? But it kept coming in, coming in, coming in. So I created the Bizology Major Arcana for the tarot card carrying CEO. And I launched it at the end of my 8 year. I'm going to run it through for my 9 year. And then in my 1 year, I'm going to reinvent myself completely because it's due to have Bizology a new iteration. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not doing numerology anymore. And in my messaging, in my emails that I wrote before I jumped on this call with you, I'm still your numerology girl. I'm still your Bizology girl. But the tarot helps you understand what's going on moment to moment in the cycles. So it's like not being afraid of those nudges that come in, but being clear in your messaging with your clients.
Your personal year is 8?
I
9.
brought it
Okay.
in my 8 year just before my birthday, but I'm going to run this through. It's another program. I'm still doing numerology and I'm blend it as well, but I'm going to run it through in the 9 year because you don't want to start anything too new in the 9 year. So I did it in the 8 year, and then in the 1 year, it's all about reinvention anyway.
Yeah, I can see that, how it all comes together
Yeah.
in something new.
Yeah.
Mhm, mhm. That's
So be
exciting.
that a course, be that an academy, be that a franchise, whatever it looks like.
Mhm. Oh, yeah. I can see all of that for you. Do you work with any type of business owner, entrepreneur?
Yeah, I've got Bizology teams where I go into companies, I go into big cities, I go into boardrooms, or I had a South African company and we, zoomed in, looking at names, looking at teams, etc. So Bizology teams is a thing, but I also work with business owners like ourselves, who we might have a small team, but we are kind of more solopreneurs.
And so what is the best place for someone new to working with you? Where can they start? What's the best place for them?
So if they go to josoley.com, under the home, there's a start here page, and I've got free life path app, free personal year app, podcasts, blogs, but I always say book a call because I like to get my hands on you, and then I can show you your numeric chart top line and then share the ways that will work best for you, Bizology wise.
Oh, wonderful. Great offering. So, yeah, you can schedule a call right away with Jo. And also, if you're just curious, you can go into her two different apps to find out your life path and your personal year and so much more. What is one final piece of wisdom that you would like to share for everyone uh, out there listening of what you've learned that it's good for people to know to honor themselves now in this day and age?
Just say to understand yourself on a deeper level, like we said through this call, I don't think people know who they are because what they say, what they do, and what they think is three completely different things. Now, I'm not saying to everyone who's listening to this podcast because they're here for a reason. They're listening for a reason. Everything's divine. But I would start to really unpick your numeric chart because I was being the power behind the throne, number two, and I'm not here to do that. I'm here to be the leader. And when I really appreciated that on a deeper level and stopped playing out in the negative of my numbers, I healed my relationship with self and my bank account. So
Mm.
money's just a byproduct of your alignment. Understand who you are and you make more money.
Oh, great. And I love that you help people understand why things do come in or why they're feeling the way they're feeling
Yeah,
with that past life influence, because we do think, oh yeah, this is a desire, this is how I feel, this is what I want to do, or I feel comfortable doing this, but it's not always the best thing for us now.
yeah,
And you help
definitely.
people understand where it comes from.
Yeah.
Thank you for the depth that you bring to the very specific structured approach. I love the fullness of what you bring, which is the depth, the detail, and the overall specifics that each person needs to know. Mm.
It's because 'cause I'm born on the 4th of the 4th.
Yes, and happy birthday month.
Yeah.
And what about this episode number 8? What energy is this bringing for us and for everyone listening?
So 8, look at the shape, infinity, abundance, success, wealth, goal setting, but it's got 2 zeros on top of each other, and 0 is God. So 8 as above, so below. So it's high standards and quality, but it's also what people just think money with 8 and then get greedy, but it's plugging into a higher consciousness.
I love that you help people understand and go beyond what we typically associate with the numbers, like you said, the 11, and how, oh, it's 1111, it's lucky. It's not. It's not always. It's intense. It's transformational. And 8
Yeah,
doesn't mean, oh, you're going to make a ton of money, but you're the higher consciousness of it.
yeah, 1111 might be a warning sign. I was in an 8-year last year and yeah, I made money, but it was about strength because 8 in the tarot is the strength card. So for me, it was about courage and strength last year.
Well, thank you so much, Joe, for sharing all of your wisdom and your offerings for everyone to be able to be in alignment with their true self and do it in the best way for them where they are and know what works best. Thank you, Joe. And thank you all for listening and learning about all of these different approaches to living life in alignment with your true self, and who can help and how they can help you. Make sure to follow the resource vibe and leave a review. Let us know what ahas you got from this episode. And I'll see you next time.